Plethiros is back. Hello and welcome to Thunderbird Blades. My name's Neil, and that dramatic intro featured this dramatic knife, Elijah Isham's Plethiros by Civivi. For those not in the know, Elijah Isham is an evil genius who thinks up fantastical knife designs in his subterranean lair. Civivi is the budget brand of We Knives, one of China's premium knife manufacturers. Put these two together and you get hyper knife design fused with Wee quality, and all for $89. But be warned, this thing is so flippin' heavy, it could rip a hole in time. But maybe that's because it looks like it's from a different time, or a dimension. Either way, the Plethiros Copper Edition feels like an ancient artifact from an advanced civivi-lization. You see what I did there? I just hit y'all with a dad joke. Boof. This thing reeks of Isham and I love it. For full disclosure, I'm an Elijah fanboy and own a few of his designs. To me, he pushes the boundaries and reimagines what's possible. His take on knife design looks very distinctive and blends form with a lot of function to create unique looking blades. For all the weird lines and contours though, the ergos on this knife work surprisingly well. My hand cocoons the body quite nicely and I can get a full 4-finger grip on this bad boy. But the star of the show is this hand-rubbed copper finish. Just look at that. It's gorgeous. Okay, let's take a closer look at the business end of the knife. It's rocking a 3.4-inch clip point blade, cut from Crucible's 154 cm mid-grade steel. It has a full flat grind with a satin finish. It's very thin behind the edge, tapering to a thickness of 0.12 inches at the spine, so this blade is super duper slicey. It has a classic Isham eyelet. I would not go as far as to say that this is a practical thumb hole for Spidey type flicks. I would consider this more of a design accent rather than a blade deployment feature. She's riding on bearings and is fairly drop shutty. Blade centering is straight down the middle, so no complaints there. The blade has a teeny tiny flipper tab, one of the smallest I've seen on a knife in a while. When I first saw this, I was like, is this thing going to deploy? But surprisingly, it does, and quite reliably. The action is okay, but by legacy Civivi standards, for some reason, it's not quite as snappy and precise. It has a partial finger choil, but I would not recommend cranking on this knife with your finger in that position. It's risky. You put your finger on there and you could quite easily slip, and off to ER you go. Moving on down the knife, we have these stunning hand-rubbed copper scales sitting on black steel liners. Unfortunately though, there's a problem with that material combo. What it looks like a work of art, she's coming in at a fighting weight of 5.57 ounces. Seriously, that's like carrying a small planet in your pocket. Unfortunately, it just makes this knife a little impractical for everyday carry, so you might want to consider one of the G10 and carbon fibre models which weigh in at 2 ounces less, if weight's a deciding factor. That aside, the liner lock is rock solid, although, to be honest, they could have made life a little easier by machining out an access ramp on the show side. While the lock jimping stands proud of the scales, as you can see, I need to stuff my thumb between the liners to disengage the locking mechanism. Towards the back end of the knife, we have a very nice loop over pocket clip, which is fully reversible. That's great news for goofy flipsters. And the black coating sits well against the dark hand rub finish, so it doesn't distract from the overall aesthetics. The clip also has really good spring tension, so it sits well in the pocket. Let's see how this thing stacks up size-wise. Here we have one of Elijah's best designs on the table today, the Kaiser Megatherium, a beast of a knife. Another Isham design, the Bestech Reticulin. And last but not least, another Isham design, arguably the best front flipper in the world, the civivi-McKenna. The overall length of the Plethiros from tip to tail is 7.9 inches, so this is a full fat knife, no half measures here. I know I've said this before about WE knives, and the same applies to Civivi since they're one in the same company. They do an awesome job integrating the brand into the pivot cap. I think that looks classy and subtle. It also keeps the blade free of any billboarding, so nice job there, guys. So, final thoughts. It's an Isham design, and for me that's enough. The mechanics of this knife could suck, and it would still bring me joy. Yeah, knives should work, and fortunately this one does, and quite well. It's slicey has great ergos. It looks stunning. The ding is that it's heavy, and for that reason only, I'm going to keep this one for the safe. So that's it for today, guys. If you like the video and want to see more, please click the like and subscribe buttons. If you think this sucks, you're welcome to click the dislike button twice. Thank you so much for your time. Stay safe, and as always, keep flipping awesome knives.